Good afternoon, everybody. We have Joe and Sean here today, and we're talking about work, the world of work today, and how it's evolved and changed over the years. So, who wants to go first? Tell us your views on the work world.
Well, we were talking earlier about the Kaiser report that came up this week where they were locating people in Ohio actually, and how people were too busy with work and working 2 and 3 jobs to pay attention to national and global events. And I think we can see that affecting us here too in the Mahoning Valley. We were talking about how work is just consuming all of our time, and that we really have to work hard at being able to pay attention to anything else, any other kind of detail. Max Kaiser and Stacy Herbert were talking about how this was being used to actually distract people from things that are going on the national stage.
Because it's so encompassing, it just really draws you in.
It is. It is. Sean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I completely agree with that statement. I have, you know, in my experience, it was done to me, and like we were talking before, if you're not working 3 jobs, you're working a job that is like 3 jobs. You're around the clock, 7 days, 7/24. You work for the company,
Right.
and it may be a good job, maybe good paying, but you don't have any time for anything else.
Yeah.
You know,
Again, all encompassing.
over 20 years ago, when I worked for that large communication company in the southeast, they did it to us.
Yeah.
We went through 10 years of what they called right sizing, which was really just getting rid of people, and they kept promising that the work was going to become streamlined. They gave us everybody a personal computer to work with. Told us to go home and sit by the phone and do our work at home. And company mail once a week. We would go into the office and get our company mail and try to slip out without anybody attacking us.
Attacking you or giving you more to do, maybe as
Yes.
well.
I had at that point, I had over 400 buildings that I was responsible for in Central Florida, and which required a lot of driving. One of the things they did at the same time was they took all the company cars away and said, well, just fill out the forms and we'll pay you mileage. Well, when you're filling out forms every day for hours, those forms sometimes didn't get filled out, and they got a lot of free gas mileage out of me and car fare and stuff like that.
Because that becomes part of the job as well, filling out forms. And a lot of times it reverts back to your own time that you have to fill those forms out.
And they did a lot of things to make you really, it was, I couldn't say wage slave, but, slave to the corporation.
Enslaved, yes.
Some of the things, we couldn't, I couldn't come up with any kind of innovation that could be copyrighted or anything else because the company owned that.
Yeah.
I was forced to sign a paper to give that to them. I was told that if I left the company for 5 years, I couldn't work in any company that competed with them. And since my specialty at the time was building automation, they owned an automation company, so I couldn't get a job in that. So
So yeah, they pretty much called the shots, and they wanted folks to make the working environment the priority in life.
And now what we're seeing, I think, I don't want to say, that business is doing this on purpose and that government is supporting them on purpose, because of course that would be a conspiracy theory and that would be crazy. But boy, it certainly is really convenient. And, as you pointed out the other day, wages are not keeping pace with this, this new level of work that we're seeing people expected to take on. I believe the piece that you drew everyone's attention to was saying that if the minimum wage had kept pace with what's going on Wall Street, it would be what, $33 an hour
At least
now?
$33 an hour.
And
and that's just for bare minimum, survival.
And we're seeing struggles now, to get at $15 an hour.
Yes. Yeah, the pace is frantic, but I think you give a lot of good evidence as to why your conspiracy theory has some teeth.
Well, we certainly see, it's very clear that government is, supporting Wall Street,
Yes.
and supporting basically the rich, and big business at the expense of the people that are laboring and actually doing the work, and we're seeing people now downsized and reduced to, doing 2 or 3 part-time jobs, while corporations are raking in record profits.
Yeah.
And, look at the explosion of the number of billionaires out there.
Yes.
They're making billions. What is it? 300. Their salaries are like 300% higher than the average person working for them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You question the fairness of that
Or
situation.
300 times. Right.
Yeah. And just for purposes of our video, can you name some of those corporations?
Amazon.
Oh, Amazon. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely Amazon.
Coke Industries.
Yeah.
Walmart.
Oh, yeah. Look at the fast food industries. Yeah.
McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, geez. McDonald's.
Yeah.
Pick and choose. At one time, the fast food industry was second only to Walmart in the low wages they paid and the really reprehensible way they treated their part-time workers.
Yes.
Now I understand that Walmart has been replaced by Amazon as the most evil corporation in America.
Yeah.
I've heard that too.
Yeah. So what's the answer? Do we have any maybe solutions to how to manage
Well, like
being an employee these days?
we just had some successful strikes in the country.
We've
The
had
teachers'
successful
unions
strikes, yes.
are leading the charge on that.
Yeah.
We just local, even though it didn't turn out for local people, the auto workers struck and came up to an agreement.
Yeah.
Of course, they, the company, like they always do, they tried a lot of underhanded and evil tricks to get the people to, stop protesting them and to go back to work. But the best protests come from the working people. They have the best, they have the best
Yep.
solutions.
They know how to do it. They have a
And they know
long
how to do
history
it.
of knowing how to do it.
Yeah.
Now,
We got another minute left. We're probably going to have to wrap up on the video.
okay, thanks, Chris.
Sure.
My position again is live as local as possible, and that means the answer is founding local business.
Yes.
Because corporations are always going to pull the rug out from under society any chance they get if it benefits them. We have endless examples of that.
That's right.
The most recent is GM in Lordstown.
Yes.
they don't care that people are left without a job. They just closed up shop and left.
Sure.
Um,
And people are trying to relocate in places now, which is another huge ordeal. But yes, local, trying to stay with the employer that is local. And I'm sorry, we're at our 10-minute time slot here, so
We'll
wanna say
continue
goodbye?
next week.
We'll continue
Bye.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.